Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever dealt with chronic anxiety, you know exactly how totally exhausting it can be. But today, we're going to flip the script a bit. I want you to imagine that dealing with chronic anxiety isn't some sign of a broken brain. Nope. Instead, think of it as being lost on a really difficult expedition through incredibly hostile terrain. Your body is equipped with this beautifully designed evolutionary alarm system that's literally meant to protect you from immediate physical danger. But out here in this modern wilderness, that alarm system is constantly misfiring. It's staying locked in the on position, triggering a massive fight or flight response when there's actually no tiger hiding in the bushes. So today, we're going to map out exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how you can find your way back.
It's a crucial question, right? Why is your body's alarm constantly ringing? Now, if I asked you what causes your stress, you'd probably point to the obvious landmarks on your map: crushing work deadlines, money stuff, or relationship struggles. But those are just the visible obstacles. What really keeps our minds trapped in a state of ongoing panic are the hazards hiding just beneath the surface. In our expedition today, we're going to navigate through the 5 hidden traps that secretly maintain your anxiety, the biological, chemical, and psychological pitfalls you probably walk right past every single day without even noticing.
Every successful expedition requires knowing the ground you walk on. So let's begin with stage 1, physical and chemical traps.
Now, what's really interesting here is that often, the panic your mind experiences isn't originating in your thoughts at all. It's actually just a misread distress signal coming straight from your physical body. Before you assume you have a purely psychological issue, we absolutely have to look at the medical reality of your physical vessel. People can spend years searching for psychiatric help, completely unaware that conditions like hyperthyroidism are speeding up their metabolism and directly causing tremors, palpitations, and severe nervous tension that perfectly mimics a panic attack. Or consider the gut-brain axis. It's this incredible two-way communication highway between your brain and your digestive system. Clinical research shows us that around 44% of individuals with irritable bowel syndrome also suffer from anxiety. Your gut literally uses the vagus nerve to send SOS signals right up to your brain. So if you're feeling suddenly anxious out of nowhere, your very first checkpoint on this expedition should always be a medical doctor.
Okay, the next trap involves the very supplies we consume on our journey. We're talking about hidden chemical hazards. Things like over-the-counter allergy meds, asthma inhalers, ADHD stimulants. These can all elevate your heart rate and induce this jittery state that your brain completely misinterprets as anxiety. And let's talk about the 2 most common culprits: caffeine and alcohol. A heavy dose of caffeine can easily trick your nervous system into a false panic. But alcohol? That is the most dangerous illusion on the trail. Many travelers use it as a false safe haven to self-medicate their social anxiety. Sure, it temporarily depresses the nervous system, offering relief, but as it leaves your body, the withdrawal process causes a massive spike in anxiety, which just reinforces your brain's dependence on it to function socially.
Once we've checked our baselines, we move deeper into the modern terrain. Stage 2. The digital labyrinth and exhaustion.
We are navigating an era of hyperconnectivity that, frankly, just wasn't designed for our ancient nervous systems. Look at the silent stressors surrounding us. Your smartphone is basically a labyrinth of psychological tripwires. Things as simple as read receipts or that little bubbling typing indicator on a text message manufacture this highly unnatural sense of urgency and performance pressure. Then you have social media highlight reels triggering upward social comparison and the fear of missing out, FOMO. This traps your brain in a perpetual baseline of anxiety, convincing you that you're somehow falling behind. Add in doom-scrolling through polarized, shocking news, and you are literally hijacking your brain's dopamine reward system. You're keeping your sympathetic nervous system in a constant, totally exhausting state of high alert.
And this brilliantly illustrates a literal, physical battle happening right inside your brain when you're chronically stressed and sleep-deprived. On one side, you've got the amygdala. That's your brain's fear and alarm center. With chronic stress, the amygdala actually grows larger and reacts a whole lot faster. On the other side is your prefrontal cortex, the rational, logical guide of your brain. Without quality sleep, the prefrontal cortex shrinks and completely loses its ability to hit the brakes on your emotions. Your brain is physically remodeling itself to be worse at thinking clearly and way better at panicking.
Now we enter stage 3, the illusion of avoidance.
This is, without a doubt, the most paradoxical and dangerous part of our entire expedition. To really understand this trap, we have to look at the step-by-step cycle of anxiety. It starts with a trigger, which leads to hyperarousal. That's your body's alarm going off. Your brain then engages in cognitive distortion, basically immediately imagining the absolute worst-case disaster. So, what do? You choose step 4, avoidance. You cancel the presentation, you skip the party, you ignore the phone call, and boom, step 5, you get instant, magical, temporary relief. The heavy weight lifts. But make no mistake, traveler, this is a devastating neurobiological trap.
So the crucial point is the mechanism behind this trap, which is called negative reinforcement. Because avoiding the fear removed your bad feelings, your brain registers that avoidance as a life-saving success. It learns a totally false rule. Avoidance equals safety. But by running away, you rob your brain of something really important called fear extinction. Fear extinction is that vital light bulb moment where you endure a scary situation and your brain actually realizes, hey, I survived, this is actually manageable. When you avoid things, the feared object just grows larger and way more terrifying in your mind, ensuring your anxiety is going to be even worse the next time you face it.
And listen, avoidance doesn't just mean staying home. A lot of us develop what are called safety behaviors. Think of these as little mental or physical rituals we use as security blankets. Maybe it's compulsively Googling every minor physical symptom you have. Maybe it's mapping out the exit doors the second you walk into a crowded room, or carrying a bottle of anti-anxiety medication that you never actually take just to have it in your pocket. These behaviors might feel protective, but they're incredibly damaging. They constantly whisper to your brain that you are simply too fragile to survive the journey on your own without a crutch.
Time to shift gears. Stage 4, the roadmap to breaking the cycle. Okay, let's dive into this, because here is the really good news. You do not have to stay lost in this wilderness forever. The absolute gold standard for finding your way out of this maze is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Now, CBT doesn't just tell you to think positive, because let's face it, that's useless in the jungle. Instead, it teaches cognitive restructuring. You actually learn to spot those automatic, catastrophic distortions and evaluate them against hard, real-world evidence. And more importantly, it utilizes gradual exposure. Instead of running away, you systematically and bravely face small doses of the discomfort you fear. By just sitting with the anxiety without using your safety behaviors, you slowly desensitize your nervous system. You are literally teaching your brain that the alarm is false.
Of course, while you are doing all this work to retrain your brain, you still need an emergency tool for when a panic attack strikes and your rational cortex basically goes offline. This is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method. When panic hits, your mind is flying off into some catastrophic future. To bring it back, you actively engage your physical senses. You name 5 things you can clearly see around you, 4 things you can physically touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This acts as a heavy anchor, pulling your hyperactive brain right away from future disasters and slamming it back into the safety of the present physical moment.
The ultimate truth of our biology here is neuroplasticity, the brain's amazing ability to change and reorganize itself. Yes, chronic stress, digital exhaustion, and avoidance have physically trained your brain's circuits to default to panic. But that exact same biological mechanism proves that through lifestyle changes, therapy, or targeted medication to balance your chemistry, you can actually retrain your brain to be calm. You are not permanently broken. You just need to forge a new path.
So, as we wrap up our expedition in this explainer today, I want to leave you with a final challenge. Look at the map we've laid out. We've seen the physical triggers, the digital traps, and the sheer illusions of avoidance. The way out isn't through comfort, it's through courage. So ask yourself, what small step of discomfort will you bravely face today to reclaim your path? Notice I said small step. You don't have to conquer the whole mountain today, but you absolutely have the power to break the cycle. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you clarity and courage on the road ahead.